We're here on the north shore of Oahu, just a couple hundred yards from the beach at Pipeline, and today was an insane day. I know there was no contest surfing, but I had the opportunity to shape a replica of my 76 Pipeliner on the beach at Pipeline, which pretty unique. I got to say that it probably the pinnacle of my surfboard building career to have done what I managed to do today. And then the board that I rode I didn't shape the board that I rode. My good friend and business partner at the time, Mike Lamont, who had spent a number of seasons here on the North Shore in the early 70s, he made the board. And that winter, myself and a great surfer from Cape Town by the name of Jonathan Palm, we sort of hung out together the whole winter, and we only had the one board. So whenever we had boards for Rocky Point and smaller days, but we only had one board for bigger surf, and so we used to share the board. So Jonathan is a regular foot, I'm a goofy foot. All I wanted to do was surf pipe. All he wanted to do was surf sunset. So fortunately, when sunset's good, pipe's normally not, and vice versa. So you'd ride the board at sunset, I'd ride the board at pipe, and then when the contest came around, that one board made 3 finals with 2 surfers on it. So Jonathan got into the finals of the Smirnoff and the Duke contest that year, and I got into the finals of pipe. And I know that for Mike Lamont, it was also an amazing achievement for him to sort of have that board do as well as it did in that winter. So today what I did is I sort of had a bit of an outline of the Pipeliners we used to ride back in the 70s, and most of them were sort of pretty similar. Jerry Lopez Pipeliner was probably the most successful. So I looked at that. I looked at a parish that I'd had from a parish template that was from a board in 75 that a lot of the surfers rode parishes in 75 and 76. So just from memory and photos, I kind of put together a template that Mike shaped. And what is most interesting is the way the bottom contour of the board was created. So we had a slight concave up until just forward of halfway, so good for point of entry for paddling. And then that went to a V, which ran for about another 3 feet and started at about a 1/16 of an inch and went all the way to like an 1/8 of an inch on either side, and then blended into a completely flat tail just halfway down the fin through to the end of the tail. And the purpose was for the board, we had full-on down railers in those days, so the board was for the purpose of that V just behind halfway was that it tipped onto rail quickly, particularly in hollow waves, and the boards worked unreal. So it was just super interesting to be able to sort of recreate that Pipeliner from the mid-70s, and as I say, to do it on the beach at Pipeline was just amazing. Yes, I went to see Keone Downing. He gave me a 75th anniversary Downing surfboard hat, which I was wearing while I was shaping it. Also, I felt like the mana from the Downing family, which was cool. And then of course, no events. So we went through to the sugar mill, and another famous area on the North Shore in terms of for the board builders. Sort of an interesting, eclectic mix of great craftsmen, working out of the sugar mill, and I managed to bang out a glass job quickly, and I'll finish it off once the sand coat's on, and I'm just stoked to have had the opportunity to do it. In 75, the board Parish made me, I was red bottom with a clear deck, pretty similar colours, and I won a contest at Sunset on that board. So I kind of thought, well, maybe, lucky colour, let's keep it the same, and that's why I glassed it red with a clear deck. And when I think back to, when, I was younger, obviously, coming over here for the winter, sort of managing to get in a couple of events, and just loving it, because Hawaii is basically the pinnacle of surfing and surf performance. But we never really imagined that, 50 years later, we'd still sort of be coming here and seeing same familiar faces, guys we were mates with back then from all over the world, and it's pretty interesting when you think about it. I think that it's really cool that the tribe, the surf tribe is in my view still completely intact, and people stay in touch with each other, and we never imagined that. We thought, I'm going to move off and do something else, and often used to say to guys when we were working in California, you walk into an outdoor restaurant, there's guys in their long slacks and loafers and sports jackets, and I used to often say to the guys who work for me, lucky we're not those guys. Lucky we've been able to make a living, doing, pursuing a lifestyle and just the incredible pursuit that surfing is.